0.0 idea if we're working. I hit all the wrong buttons. When you play with face space, hi, Dr. Zuckerberg. He's so wonderful. When you use the face space to simulcast over, you have to. About a year ago, they jammed us up, and you have to do 15 different things, and I just hit the wrong button. So there's probably a partial video somewhere that I stopped because I started again, but we're here now. Good morning. It is your morning quick start. We do this every day at 8:30. We run through the calendar of events that's going to happen at the Market Center. We have a coaching conversation, and more often than not, I usually hit the right buttons. Today might have been a little bit of clunk before we got on the air, but here we are, and we're doing that because we are sending this. This goes to Face Space, probably where you and I are having a conversation right now, and also. We send this over to the YouTubes if you're so inclined to watch this later. When you go to the YouTubes and go to live videos, you'll see interviews like Coffee with a Capper. We've been doing Nathology as of late, talking to the people who have been instrumental in Nathan's journey with the real estate thing, celebrating 21 years of Keller Williams Coastal Lakes and Mountains, and of course, 50 years of Nate. So all of those reside over. If you go to the KWCLMhub.com, where today we'll be having orientation, and we utilize that to show you where all the things are. There's a thing that says learning videos. You click on that and go in there, and the learning videos are going to be all over the place. But when you go to YouTube, you can also click a live button and see what was broadcast live, like this. So this is both on FaceSpace and the YouTubes, just because we're trying to save our videos now. Because Mark Zuckerberg, hi Mark, deletes everything after 30 days. Because he's such a wonderful person. There, I said that. Isn't that nice? Wasn't that nice of me? So let's move on. It's October 9th. We're 90 days out from January 7th. We are well into Q1 2026 with our results, right? Whatever you do today is going to probably come to fruition in about 90 days-ish. So we're talking about January 7th today, the DTD2 this week. We just flipped. We're in a brand new week, in a brand new quarter for the DTD2, do the database 2. You're calling your A's and your W's. Or as they would say down south, your W's. Your W's. It's two U's next to each other, even though it looks like a V. But way back then, they were chiseling. They couldn't make the round. It's a long story. We'll do history later. You're calling your A's and your W's. And you are texting your R's. And that's your DTD2 for the week. So as you launch into whatever you're doing next to build your business, it might be Fight Club. You could join us at Fight Club, KWFightClub.com at 9 o'clock. Cameras on, microphones off. You're making your calls. You're doing your golden letters. You're doing whatever you're doing to make sure that you are having enough conversations to help enough people to fill your pipeline so you have business for the rest of forevers, or as long as you want it. That happens today. That's at 9. KWFightClub.com for that orientation here in Portsmouth. It is in person only. We just had a study session last night with some individuals who are getting ready to take their test. And in the back of the room, all of the names were laid out for the people who are going to join us today for orientation, where you'll find out answers to questions like, where's the second elevator? How do I get paid early? What's uptime? What is the orange folder? Where do I go for tech, KT? Where do I go for coaching, Tim? All those things happen. If you've never been to orientation, and notice we got rid of new agent orientation because we have a lot of agents who are seasoned agents, lightly dusted, of course, to your taste, from other brokerages who come play with us here. And everyone knows when you get to Keller Williams, there is a process called Kellerization. You have to figure out what in the hell we're talking about with all the acronyms. And every business vertical, every company has their acronyms. We have more than most. So Kellerization is important. So coming to orientation, whether you have been before or you sort of went ages ago, but you didn't pay attention, you can join us anytime for orientation. It would be fantastic because then some of the people that are coming here for the first time as a veteran agent or for the first time as a branding new agent get to hear from you. So don't ever avoid going to orientation. You'll notice we stripped new agent orientation off the name, and it's just Keller Williams Coastal Lakes and Mountains, KWCLM orientation. Today in Portsmouth, starts at 9, goes straight through the afternoon. You're going to hit all the nuts and bolts about all the things that are important about KWCLM. And then on the other side of lunch, you start to get into all the conversations with the brokers. And Tom and Jason will take them through all of that stuff, all of the paperworks, all of the contracts, all of the deliciousness of what we do. So it's a full day here, and we feed you. So if you've never been before and you are an active agent with KWCLM, I encourage you at some point to maybe jump back in, because there might be some stuff that you don't know because you just assume that you do know. As I've always said, it's very difficult to read the ingredients when you're inside the jar. So if you've been inside the jar for a little while, maybe come to orientation, learn something new. And I'm not saying that you have to. I'm just saying you can. It's not exclusively for people that just joined us, whether they are veterans from another broker or if they're just brand new. The ink on their test is still drying, which is not a thing because you take that on a computer and a daisy wheel printer. That's at 9 o'clock. Today at 1 o'clock, we do the midday protocol. This will be the last midday protocol for the week. I am escaping tomorrow, charity golf calls, and I have to go rifle Pro V1s into the woods for a good cause. So we'll do the midday protocol today. This week we are doing shift tactic number 6. It's all about bringing people into your web. What are you doing? What are you offering for MOFers? See, there's another acronym. What the hell is a MOFer? I'm glad you asked. Make offer for immediate response. What are you doing? And there's thin bait and fat bait. It sounds personal. I'll be the fat bait if we're going to act this out. There's thin bait and fat bait. Like what is the MOFer you're offering to get them just to reach out and say, hey, I'd like to know more. Then the fat bait's like, okay, you know what's going to be really cool? When you sign here and come play with me, we do X, Y, and Z. Which begs the question, what's your value proposition? And a lot of people are like, oh, I got a great one. I got a great one. Let me read it to you. Said with love. And everybody feels differently about this. And you're allowed to feel however you want. One of my number one rules is I cannot tell you how to feel. Feel however you want about what I'm about to say. I think if you have a value proposition that starts with I, we're already on the wrong track. Our value proposition is about delivering service and excellence and plussing the experience for the consumer, to entice them, be like, God, I want to find out more about this person. I want to work with this person. Ages ago, I realized in my freshman year, I was just like, every time somebody says, why should I work with you? I start talking about me. And the reason they should work with me is if I start talking about them. So what I did, just to flip it on its head, we call this we want to change their emotion. We want to flip it on its head, right? They're expecting you to start talking about you. Well, you know why you should work with me, blah, 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 blah. Nobody cares. You immediatamente, it's immediately for those of you failing Spanish, you immediately start talking about you. That's when we become the used car salesman. That's when we become the person that we don't want to be. Well, Timmy, I don't want to be salesy to my friends. I don't want to sound greasy. Then don't talk about you. So what I started to do immediately, and this would happen more often than not when I was talking to expired clients, not clients of ours, but somebody who had expired, and I had found them in the hot sheet. And then I had checked the do not call list because of TCPA, and we want to be friendly. We don't want to get fined. It's $43,000 per singular violation. Dear God, if you have that money, take me to lunch. And I would say, you know what? Because they would say, well, why should I work with you? And rather than saying, well, I'm glad you asked, let me get out the diatribe I have to read to you because it's too long and it's all about me. Don't say that. I started saying, and this worked fabulously, you know what, Mr. Jones? I'm glad you asked. And I'm not quite sure we should work together. But if you have a few minutes, I'd love to ask you a handful of questions to make sure that we are a fit. Opening with, I'm not sure that we should work together, inclusive language, because you're making a decision too. If we're doing our job and we're having enough conversations, we're creating enough activity in our business that we get to choose who we work with. So rather than read a list of reasons that they should work with you, I would, just to get them to, it's going to change the way they feel. It drops their guard because you've immediately said you're not clawing at them to work with them. Mr. Jones, excellent question. And to be quite honest, I'm not sure we should work together, but if you have some time, I'd love to ask you a handful of questions just to make sure that we are a fit. Would that be okay? And you could see their shoulders drop, or you could hear it on the phone. All the tension, all the angst in the air between you and the consumer, historically, when you get comfortable saying that, will drop because they're not ready for that. They're waiting for you to read a list of excellence about you. And it's not about us. It's about how we make them feel, right, Maya Angelou? People will rarely remember what you said. They'll remember how you made them feel. Are we creating an experience? And if that is your first statement, if that's the opening salvo of your relationship with this consumer, they will become your client because you're doing something extraordinary by saying that. You're allowing them to understand you're both making a choice. And whether you are desperate for your first piece of business, your seventh piece of business, or your next piece of business, you're not verbalizing that to them. This is service first, sales second. Head down, heart up. And I think if that becomes your value proposition statement, they will learn more about you in 13 seconds that will endear them to want to find out more. And that's the relationship between us and the consumer in this real estate business. Stay curious, peel the onion, ask the next question. Because you hear me say this all the time. Ask great questions, take great notes, have honest conversations. And people always say, well, Timmy, what's a great question? The next one. If you open the relationship with curiosity and you make them feel like they're the star of the show, they will want to stay on stage with you. It's that simple. The Midday Protocol, today, 1 o'clock, timsoffice.com. We talk about 3 lead indicators, your conversations in the last 24 hours, the appointments that you've set, and the contracts that you've signed. And guess what? 0 is a number. So join us, drop your guard, and hold yourself to account and join the rest of the people on this call that are building their business by doing the next right thing and reporting to themselves first and to the group every day at 1. The second half of the call, we'll talk about what is your value proposition? What is the thing that you're doing to attract people into conversation with you, bringing them into your web? Tactic 6 from Shift. 1 o'clock, timsoffice.com for the Midday Protocol. Today at 3, it is a Thursday at 3 o'clock. You get to talk to KT Temple. He has the Tech Mastermind every Thursday at 3. The link for that is in your morning news. At 4 o'clock, he does tech onboarding. Tab A, slot B, for all the electronics connected to your KW experience. And then tonight at 6, the Tiffany Hampton, continuing the Rookie Real Estate Book Club. That's tonight at 6. So if you are a dual career agent, the opportunity for that after-school special is alive and well. And the link for that is in the morning news. If I can help with anything, please let me know. It is 603-834-2856. You can also book my face at meetwithcoach.com. I'll see you in and around the internet and the market center. Take care.